In every society, there are certain different types of divisions between people. These divisions, in fact, are natural based because all human beings are created differently. But this differences or division doesn't have to be considered as discrimination between people. Sometimes we find these differences discriminative, seeing people treated differently or unfavorably. The difference doesn't mean that one has the right of having something while the other doesn't have. Every individual in a society has an equal right as another individual. But differences should be considered. The consideration of differences doesn't mean that we can deprive one person of certain rights while giving the same rights to another. This is a discriminative division, which does not include any aspect that was just mentioned. We all have the same capabilities as individuals of a society. The skills and talents that one has can be different from another. That difference doesn't mean that the person is not capable of doing that certain task. If one person can do one task, it doesn't have to be necessarily obliged or compulsory that another person should do that too. Because we just mentioned that we are created differently with different talents, skills, qualifications, lifestyles, demands, and all other life aspects. We human beings cannot divide groups of people based on our own favor. This division is a natural division just for understanding different needs of different people, not to discriminate between people. One example of discriminative division is caste groups between social groups of a certain society. They believe that certain people should have certain positions. Another person who is capable of owning or having that position can't have that one because he is not a part of that certain caste. This is completely weird and unacceptable. If I have the capability and I do not cause any trouble to another person, and I have a right to have that position or do a certain task, so why should I be deprived of? Just because of being from a different caste or not being from the same caste? This is completely nonsense. How can one divide persons based on certain so-called groups? Why can't one person be a part of a certain caste? Why not? What difference does it make? So, if certain caste is ruling a country or ruling a society, it doesn't have to continue till the end. If that certain group doesn't have the qualification of ruling, caste group doesn't have to decide that they have to remain because they are from the high caste. And ones who are at the lower caste, though their qualification is much more than the higher caste, cannot have that right just because of being from the lower caste. This is completely nonsense. Do not divide people based on the certain so-called groups that are created by nonsense people. This is completely unacceptable and unjust to divide people, not considering their abilities, not considering their lifestyle, not considering their being at least. Do not divide people by different names. Respect everybody's differences. Live happily. That is all. Thanks for listening and watching.